Hello and welcome to another SuperNEC Basics help video, where today we're going to be dealing with the output viewer. In front of you, you can see a typical example of the output interface, or the SuperNEC out. It's important to note that this particular interface works on a filtering principle. So a summary of results contained in the output file will selectively be displayed here in the right-hand results list box. And you can do that by choosing settings from the tab bar group, these four options up here, and from the two smaller list boxes over here, which I will cover in just a moment. Tab bar group is going to allow you to specify which type of output you'd like to have in your output file. There are four mutually exclusive tabs you can choose from. Radiation patterns being your first option. You can select from a 2D or 3D radiation pattern, and in a different how-to video I've already covered how to work with those pretty extensively. There they are. Your near fields, electric and magnetic near fields, can also be displayed through SuperNEC and in the output file. Your next option is current and charges. You can have a display of your current and charge distributions. And the very last one is parameter versus frequency. This will allow you to display the excitation, coupling and efficiency and gain of the results contained in your SuperNEC output folder. Once again, there are help videos on literally each one of these tabs if you want to have an in-depth look at what they do. You'll notice that there are two list boxes available to you, one on the top left and one on the bottom left. We will begin on the top left, where you can select a specific structure. In your simulation, you might have had multiple structures incorporated in your project as a whole. By selecting a specific model, you can filter your results, and it will only contain the one you've selected. You can select multiple models, and please note that any structure that has not been selected will not be displayed in your output. Similarly, you can see here we have a range of frequencies that we've set up in our input interface. Once again, there's a video on that if you'd like it. You can now actually filter which frequencies you'd like to see your structure simulated at by selecting all of them, some of them, none of them. Once again, you need to note that any frequency not selected or filtered into your results will not be displayed. So there you selected a structure. The mechanisms I've just outlined for you will allow you to basically quickly filter through different frequencies or work with individual structures in your project to create a specific model at a specific frequency. You can view the radiation pattern at a frequency of your choice. You can view the radiation pattern of a specific component in your design. And once you press the plot button, you can actually see all the different aspects of it, its parameter versus frequency, charges, currents, near fields, and radiation pattern. Other than that, the output window has some other features I'd like to touch on very quickly. One of the first things you'll notice here is we've got a couple of checkboxes here at the bottom. Each one is labeled structure and overlay. So as you recall from our input basics video, we have actually created a structure in our project, for example a dipole, monopole, something like that. And to create a more accurate representation of this in conjunction with, for example, our radiation pattern, this is where it's especially used, you might want to actually add your structure to your radiation pattern. Also, something that needs to be noted, if you go look at my video on current and charge outputs, you'll see that the structure is going to be automatically displayed. Why? Because the charges and currents are actually moving through your structure, so this will always be the case for charges and currents. The next thing we'll be covering is the overlay. The overlay is selected when you want to create multiple different plots on the same set of axes. I do have to add that the one thing you cannot actually do with the overlay checkbox is you cannot add it to your near field, current or charge results. So you'll see here, not available, not available, not available, and there you can work with the overlay. The last thing we're going to be covering is we're going to be working with the push buttons available to us on this menu. You can see you have four that are obviously available. One is the plot button, selected results plotted on the MATLAB plotting software. Then you have the workspace results. The workspace results are actually particularly useful if you want to work with the raw data from your specific simulation. Recall that you actually have a MATLAB workspace that could be running in the background or that you can open at any point. So you can send the raw data at your filtered frequency from your filtered structure to your workspace. When you do use the workspace option and you're only working, for example, with the magnetic near-field data, you're going to be prompted to add a specific variable name to your data. That's fine, then it gets sent to your workspace and it's done. But for example, if you would like to add the magnetic and the electric near-field data to your workspace, you're going to be prompted for a variable name, but it'll be saved as a structure. And that structure will contain each individual data type. But it's pretty easy to access. Third one is the load button, so you can load multiple SuperNEC output files. And as I actually mentioned when I was working with loading output data in a previous video, your output files and your results and your data will be merged when you've already loaded the data output. What makes this quite great is that you can open multiple SuperNEC output files and you can view the results simultaneously and maybe compare them. And exit button, you're going to be closing the output interface when you press that one. And lastly, what I'm going to be saying is we've been super helpful here. You'll see at the bottom of the window there's a dynamic context sensitive help box. So if you run the pointer over available frequencies or anything like that, it should give you a little hint as to what you're actually doing at that point. So there it says select structures, it says output, filter, load. And that's all from me with regards to the output viewer. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.